The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
The entire city lit up when the news broke that federal agents had swarmed Pooh Shiesty's Memphis residence at sunrise, turning the quiet neighborhood into a full-blown war zone overnight. As sources claim, more than 20 federal officers from the ATF, U.S. Marshals, and Memphis's Violent Crime Task Force pulled up in unmarked SUVs, bulletproof shields raised, and tactical gear on deck. The block was sealed off within minutes. Neighbors said they heard banging like the door was about to fly off the hinges, followed by agents yelling commands as they rushed inside. This wasn't a routine visit. This was a coordinated takedown. The feds reportedly executed a sealed warrant tied to an ongoing RICO-style investigation into interstate firearms trafficking and money laundering, an operation they've allegedly been tracking for months. And according to multiple law enforcement leaks, Pooh Shiesty's address had been flagged after investigators traced suspicious digital transactions linked to devices previously seized during his 2021 and 2022 cases. These weren't just old allegations resurfacing. This was new heat, fresh smoke, and the type of federal attention that never means anything good.
Hello?
Inside the home, agents reportedly turned the place upside down, flipping mattresses, ripping through vents, checking floorboards, and securing multiple safes. Sources claim they recovered stacks of cash wrapped in bands, encrypted phones, a custom-painted Draco pistol, and a designer duffel bag containing documents investigators described as evidence of unlawful financial activity. Even more wild, federal agents seized surveillance drives connected to the property's exterior cameras, which reportedly showed unusual late-night interactions outside the residence over the last few weeks. But that's not all. Insiders are saying the most shocking discovery was a hidden compartment under the staircase containing unregistered firearm parts, extended mags, and digital ledgers tied to what investigators believe is a larger network operating across Memphis, Atlanta, and Miami. This is what sent social media into meltdown, because Pooh Shiesty was supposed to be on a clean slate, handled, quiet, focused on music, and out the way. The raid happened so fast that his crew didn't even have time to react, and by the time fans heard the news, Shiesty was already in federal transport, reportedly taken into custody for violations connected to ongoing federal supervision. What makes the situation even crazier is the timing. Just weeks earlier, industry chatter hinted that Pooh Shiesty was preparing one of the biggest comeback releases of 2026, with multiple collabs lined up and a major label rollout already being built. Sources claim his team was in talks about festival appearances, brand deals, and a new Back on Shiesty business project, but all of that came crashing down the moment the feds moved in. Overnight, the headlines shifted from comeback season to federal collapse, and fans had no idea how deep this situation actually went. This raid wasn't random, it was strategic, it was calculated. And according to people close to the situation, this is only the beginning of what the feds are planning. What really got social media losing its mind was the leaked list of items seized during the raid, the kind of details that turn a police report into a full-blown wildfire online. According to insiders, federal agents collected a jaw-dropping combination of high-end weapons, encrypted devices, and financial evidence that investigators say builds a timeline of illegal activity going back nearly 18 months. The item that sparked the most conversation was a modified FN 5.7 pistol with aftermarket parts, which ATF agents allegedly classified as restricted due to configuration. That alone pushed the internet into chaos, with fans arguing if the weapon was legal, modified, or planted, but the feds weren't done. Sources claim they also recovered multiple flash drives labeled with handwritten names and dates, some linked to prior criminal cases involving Shiesty's circle. These drives reportedly contained stored messages, location data, and digital receipts tied to money transfers flagged by investigators as structured deposits. If true, this hints at financial movements being broken down into smaller amounts, the exact type of activity that sets off federal alarms.
Now, in just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a violent shootout in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail.
Authorities also took possession of 3 iPhones with disabled passcodes, believed to hold communication between Shiesty and several out-of-state associates tied to Memphis street factions. But the discovery that left the internet in flames was a ledger, an old-school notebook, listing names, numbers, and coded amounts that federal authorities say match ongoing investigations across multiple cities. Fans immediately compared it to the type of ledgers used in the infamous YSL case and earlier RICO busts tied to Memphis operations. Commentators on TikTok and X started breaking the information down like detectives, circling dates, matching locations, and claiming the feds been watching way longer than anyone knew. Even wilder, sources claim the feds found unreleased music allegedly containing lyrics referencing real-life situations still under investigation. That set off a whole new wave of discussion because prosecutors have increasingly used rap lyrics as evidence. Whether investigators plan to use those lines or not, the fact that they seized music files shows how deep they're digging. What's making the situation even more explosive is the possibility that the raid is connected to an even larger federal sweep. As sources claim, several Memphis properties were searched within the same 48-hour window, with unconfirmed reports mentioning ties to a network the feds believe may be tied to weapons trafficking from Tennessee into Georgia and Florida. Fed agents also allegedly questioned neighbors who reported seeing unfamiliar vehicles pulling up late at night to Shiesty's residence over the past month, which investigators believe might tie into surveillance they've been running quietly since late 2025. Fans online are split. Some think the feds are targeting Shiesty unfairly due to his past. Others believe this is the biggest hip-hop federal case since the YNW, Melly, and YSL eras. What's certain is that the story isn't dying down. Every new detail fuels the fire. And with Shiesty officially booked back into custody, lawyers scrambling, and the industry reacting in real time, this scandal is turning into one of the biggest storms Memphis has seen in years.
And it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Rhode Island says you're wanted. With it.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest.
Once Pooh Shiesty was taken into custody, the rumors started flying immediately. But the official documents hit even harder than the speculation. Sources connected to the case say he's being held on a combination of federal supervision violations and new investigative findings tied to firearm possession, digital evidence, and suspected involvement in interstate activity. And the craziest part? The feds reportedly argue that the raid revealed enough probable cause to reopen portions of his previous cases. At the center of everything is the accusation that Shiesty violated multiple conditions tied to his federal release from the 2021 Miami incident. Prosecutors allegedly claim he traveled without permission, made unauthorized financial transactions, and maintained contact with individuals currently under investigation. These exact violations give the feds the power to hold him even without brand new charges. And that's why he's locked up right now. But new charges might be on the way. As sources claim, ATF agents are now analyzing every weapon seized in the raid. If even one firearm is unregistered, illegally modified, or linked to any other investigation, Shiesty could be hit with possession charges carrying mandatory minimums. Federal gun charges aren't like state charges. Once they stick, they hit hard, and the sentencing guidelines are brutal. Beyond the weapons, investigators are looking into financial activity traced to Shiesty's accounts. Federal documents suggest unusual movements matching structuring behavior, where deposits are broken into smaller amounts to avoid banking thresholds. If prosecutors decide to classify this under money laundering or conspiracy, the charges could escalate fast. Those ledgers they seized, those encrypted flash drives, those could be the feds' way of building a RICO case, not necessarily against Shiesty alone, but against a broader network they believe he's connected to.
Popular rapper arrested. He's accused of shooting a security guard at a South Florida gentleman's club and will remain behind bars. A judge denied bond for 21-year-old Lontrell Williams.
The feds reportedly want to determine if Shiesty used his home as a meeting point for certain individuals tied to firearm transactions. This is where it gets messy, because even if he wasn't directly involved, the presence of illegal items in his home can still tie him into the conspiracy. Insiders claim investigators are now cross-referencing timestamps from his home surveillance system with cell tower pings from seized devices, trying to map out who came to the property and when. This is the exact kind of investigation that landed other rappers in deeper trouble over the last decade. And now there's reports that prosecutors are using statements from anonymous witnesses who claim Shiesty has remained connected to high-risk individuals in Memphis since his release. If the feds decide those witnesses are credible, that alone can justify holding him until trial. Combined with online commentary, leaked arrest papers, and federal press silence, this case is turning into a storm the internet can't look away from. The most shocking part? Lawyers connected to the Memphis hip-hop scene are already calling this one of the biggest crackdowns on a mainstream rapper in years. And if Shiesty's team doesn't move quickly, this could turn into a legal fight that lasts deep into 2027. The moment news broke that Pooh Shiesty had been taken back into custody, the entire music industry froze. Memphis especially felt the impact like an earthquake, because Shiesty wasn't just any artist. He was one of the biggest modern stars from the city, carrying the torch for a new generation that had been thriving since 2020. His comeback had been hyped up for months, and insiders claimed his team had already laid out a multi-million-dollar rollout. But the raid killed momentum instantly. As sources claim, his label immediately placed all upcoming content on pause, including 2 videos that were scheduled to drop in February, a documentary crew that had been following him for weeks, and a collaboration with a major Atlanta artist rumored to be the lead single for his summer project. Producers who had been working closely with him said they were blindsided, and several collaborators publicly posted cryptic messages hinting that the city took a huge loss today. The Memphis scene itself is feeling the shockwave. Shiesty isn't just a rapper. He's a symbol for how fast someone from South Memphis can blow up when the music hits right. For a moment, it looked like the city had another superstar ready to take over for real. Now it feels like deja vu, another Memphis talent caught in legal trouble just as the momentum was peaking. Older artists have reportedly warned younger rappers to move smarter, while up-and-coming artists are speaking out about how the streets don't want to see nobody make it. Even more dramatic, social media started cooking up conspiracy theories within minutes. Some fans believe the feds were watching Shiesty ever since his release and waited for the perfect moment to clamp down. Others claim they targeted him because of his influence, especially since he was rumored to be launching his own label later this year. Whether true or not, the internet is convinced this was bigger than just a routine raid. Behind the scenes, executives reportedly fear the impact on the Memphis sound. Pooh Shiesty brought spotlight, recognition, and major streaming numbers that opened doors for countless younger artists. Losing that presence, even temporarily, hurts the city's momentum. There's also tension within Shiesty's camp, according to insiders. Some people around him reportedly feel this was avoidable. Others believe he was targeted unfairly and never got a clean chance to rebuild his life. That division is spilling onto social platforms with cryptic posts, subtweets, and messages hinting at internal pressure building. The situation also raised questions about security, loyalty, and the people Shiesty kept around him. Multiple Memphis figures are now speaking out, saying this should be a wake-up call to the entire industry, that fame without distance from the streets leads to the same ending every time. Memphis hadn't even recovered from past losses before this hit. And now the city is watching another rising star get swallowed by federal pressure. What comes next for Pooh Shiesty is the part that has everyone holding their breath, because sources claim the feds are nowhere near done. Right now, Shiesty is being held at a federal facility while investigators continue processing everything collected during the raid. His legal team is already preparing emergency motions, but insiders say the chances of bond are slim due to the severity of the weapons discovered. The ATF is running forensic tests on the firearms, checking serial numbers, residue patterns, and any links to unsolved shootings in Tennessee and Georgia. That alone could take weeks. If even one weapon ties into a separate investigation, the situation becomes 10 times worse. Prosecutors are also combing through the encrypted phones.
You remember that bet when Buddy had this right here? And I told you I was like, he going to jail?
Yeah.
He's going back.
If investigators successfully extract messages, call logs, or deleted files, that could form the backbone of a brand new indictment. But the biggest concern comes from the digital ledgers. As sources claim, federal financial crimes units believe these notes could link Shiesty to a broader network, meaning this might not stay an individual case. If prosecutors argue conspiracy, the timeline expands and the penalties get heavier. RICO cases don't hit often, but when they do, they're designed to make examples out of everyone involved. Industry insiders say major players are quietly distancing themselves for now, waiting to see how serious the case becomes. Some producers have paused releases. A few artists pulled Shiesty features off upcoming albums. Even playlist curators reportedly froze updates involving his music. This is how fast things shift when federal heat enters the chat. Meanwhile, Memphis fans are rallying online using hashtags, clips, and videos demanding his freedom. Shiesty has one of the most loyal fan bases in the South, and they're refusing to accept that the story could end here. But the feds don't move based on trends. They move based on timelines, paperwork, and pressure. The next 90 days will determine everything. If no major charges drop, he might return home sooner than people expect. But if the feds decide the evidence connects him to something bigger, this case could stretch deep into 2027 or longer. And with the seized material still being analyzed, nobody knows which direction the hammer will fall. For now, all eyes are on Memphis, watching, waiting, refreshing for updates. This raid wasn't a small situation. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a federal declaration that they want answers and they want accountability. Whether Pooh Shiesty walks free soon or gets pulled deeper into the system is the biggest question in hip-hop right now. If you want more updates on what happens next in this case, make sure to like the video and subscribe so the story continues to reach the timeline.